Hi guys, today's video is going to be an unboxing and review of the Mcfarlane Gold Label Batman Detective Comics number 587, Night People. This figure retails for $50 and I did purchase this with my own money. This is a Mcfarlane Toys store exclusive and is based on Norman Breyfogle's Batman. This figure has a darker color scheme than the comic, so it's not totally accurate. Here is the front of the box. There is the UPC for anybody that needs it. There is the side of the box and the other side of the box. And then the back here, this is artwork from the cover of the Detective Comics number 587. And this is also what's on the collector's card that's inside here, and I think it looks really nice. And you can see what I mean by the figure is has a darker color scheme than the comic book does. Okay, so now we're going to open it. That's what it looks like, still in the package, in the plastic. And then this is the cardboard insert on the back. And there we have our card. Okay, we have the figure itself. He comes with the sculpted plastic rubberized cape. It does have texture on it, as you can see here. This cape is not a totally new design. It's a retool from an older DC Direct Batman statue with a few changes up on the top part. Next, we have the extra large wired cape. Next, we have the rebreather mask. It does look a bit on the small side, so I'm not sure if it's going to fit on his head, but we will try. I may have to hit it with the blow dryer, but let's go ahead and try it out. I'm actually going to take his head off because I don't want to scratch the top of his head. Okay, so I had to really finagle with this, and it took me quite a bit of time to get this to fit correctly. I did use a blow dryer. This still tends to drop and fall where his mask will go below his nose. So I'm just being kind of careful with it right now, not trying to move it too much so I can show you guys what he looks like with it on. Also, I will be going over his hands, but he does come with these nifty little hands that, you can make it look like he's, holding the mask to his face or something if you wanted to do that. Yeah, so that's kind of a disappointment. I mean, he looks cool, but it's still kind of a disappointment. All right, so moving on to our other accessories, we have our Scarface dummy head. Turn it around for you guys to see it. I'm not really sure why this is in here. I'm kind of confused as to why it's there, why it's in here. Then we have our two sets of hands, a pair of fists, and then open holding hands. Then we have our batarang. And of course our collector's card. And last but not least, we have this huge display stand. It is a replica rooftop eagle and gargoyle stand, and this is actually featured in the hardcover book Legends of the Dark Knight by Norman Breyfogle, Volume 2. And it looks like they might be trying to make it look like oxidized copper, maybe. But yeah, it's very nice and detailed. And it also does have 2 pegs on it. Moving on to the figure itself, I do want to mention here at the beginning of going over the figure that he is not very pleasant to handle. And there are multiple reasons. The one I want to mention right now is the sharp corners on his cape, and his ears are very like spiky and pointy. And if any of you have any of the Spawn figures or Mortal Kombat figures, they can be very unpleasant to handle too. They kind of hurt your hands. Well, at least they hurt mine. He does the same thing, so I'm not really a big fan of that. But moving on to his head here, he does have longer ears and the cowl on his cowl, and it's done in a dark gray and blue. His neck is on the shorter side, you can see right here, and he does have a wider jawline. His bat emblem is painted on, and his utility belt is a molded belt. It's not painted onto the diaper. He comes with this sculpted cape that's on him, like fresh out of the package. And I am going to take this off, and I'm going to show you what he looks like with the extra large wired cloth cape. So I'm going to put that on him, and I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back with his cloth goods cape on. As you can see, it is not symmetrical, and it is very big. This is what it looks like from the back side here. The material seems to be good quality. It's nice and thick, but it looks like, as you can see here, it's going to wrinkle pretty easy. This little weird notch thing that they have here looks, well, I will cover this in just a second, but let me get back to this notch on his cape. I think it's put there so he can hold it, you know, in his hand. Well, if I can get it in there without his head popping off. I think that, you know, it's put there anyway so he can hold it. Let me pop his head back on. Next, we're going to cover articulation. He does have the standard Mcfarlane articulation, double jointed elbows and knees and all of that. The same ankle joints, everything. Where there's a problem is his arms. So he does have the normal articulation, but once you raise the arms to chest level like this, it pops off. So even though he does have the full range of articulation in his arms that are typical of Mcfarlane figures, you're not really going to be able to utilize the full range of motion for his arms. And that is the #1 complaint for this guy, is the head and cape pop off. It's a huge design flaw. It's not just the soft good capes that it happens to. It also happens to the static cape. And it's just a really aggravating issue to deal with. Part of the reason is, I believe, that they didn't make this peg part long enough to help keep it in place, and the fact that the design of the cape has it resting directly on top of the shoulders, you know, you're just never going to be able to pose him, move him, or really even mess with him much if you put him out for display. You could maybe try double-sided tape, but at this point, I don't think even that's gonna be enough. I think the only way you could probably prevent that is super glue, but I'm not super gluing any of my figures. So anybody that has this figure is going to tell you that that is a huge problem, and it's very aggravating, and it would make you almost not want to purchase this at all, just from the aggravation. Anyone who has touched this figure would know the head and cape pop off every time you mess with it. So it has me questioning if anyone at Mcfarlane actually like played with the figure, tried to pose the figure at all before giving final approval for it to be made. This is just inexcusable to me, especially for a $50 action figure. It's just crazy, like inexcusable. Now here he is with the sculpted cape on, and I do want to show you that it is a problem with this one as well, as you can see. One thing that they did, because this whole cape is like the same weight as the body, so I think the one thing that they did try to do when they designed it is put this piece down here, because it's gonna help him balance to stand. I will put some video of him, but as you can see, it's designed to touch the ground to help stabilize him if you want to actually use the static cape. I also want to mention that the design flaws might not be an issue for inbox collectors like myself. I normally just leave everything new in box. And so they probably won't mind purchasing this figure. The capes and the design flaw and all that issue, it's not going to be an issue for them, but it will be a headache, and it will be very aggravating and frustrating for people who do like to create scenes or displays. This figure will be very frustrating to display loose. This figure retails for $50. It does say, you know, it's a gold label, but I really don't care that it's a gold label. As a collector, what I care about is what I get inside the package. This is a Mcfarlane Toy Store exclusive, and he never offers free shipping, so you're going to have to pay the $50 plus the shipping to order it from Mcfarlane. So you're going to be looking at $60. For me, I'm just not getting what I think is worth $60, and I will show you why. So I'm going to move this over, and I have two collector's editions. Now, collector's editions retail for $29.99, and you can order them from sites that give you free shipping. So for the $60, I could get two really nice figures with nice accessories for the same price, versus him, I only get one figure and, you know, not a lot of else. Maybe, you know, an extra cape and a couple of accessories. To me, it's just not worth the price, and this seems to be a bit on the more expensive side for what you get. Okay, and then I want to show you guys the standard 2-packs from Mcfarlane. I'm not talking about the ones that come with the large figures. I'm just talking about the standard 2-packs that retail for $40, $39.99. And I'm going to compare them to this one, who is $50 plus shipping, because Mcfarlane doesn't offer free shipping, so you're looking at $60, that has major design flaws and is very frustrating to handle and try to display. So the first one here we have is the Flash and Batman Earth 2-pack. This one might not be a great example because it's an older one. But I wanted to show you, you get the two basic black stands, you get a big display stand, 2 cards, and 2 figures that look pretty good. Okay, this is 40 bucks. I feel like this is worth my 40 bucks. Then we're going to move on to a newer 2-pack release. It's going to be the Superman versus Superman Earth. And you can see I get a huge display stand in here, 2 black stands, extra hands, 2 cards, 2 figures, and I also get a Tomica in there. And this is $40. I feel like this is worth my $40 based on this versus this one at $60 with major design flaws. I do want to show you guys this really quick. I was trying to pose him for some B-roll, and this ankle joint is very loose, so it's making it difficult for me to do that. Also, the pegs that are on the stand are a very tight fit. I'm pushing pretty hard here, and it's not really going in, so that makes me think these can probably break pretty easy. So I think y'all should probably be mindful of that. Okay, then next I want to go over the Scarface head because the holding hands that he comes with out of the package, they can't hold it. So I thought maybe these open holding hands or claw-shaped hands could work, and as you can see, you can't really hold him with these either. So to me, this is a useless accessory because I can't display him with it unless I just want to leave it on the ground in front of him. So what do you guys think about this release? Is the malfunctioning head and cape design flaw, is that enough to make you pass on purchasing it? Or are you still planning on purchasing it and maybe keeping it new in box? I'm interested to know, so let me know in the comments. That's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you for watching, and see you guys in the next video.